we have a gnoll problem here, and it's pretty much north of. In all of my games, I have all of my groups that are basically interacting with one another now, and I have basically most of my games are in the Forgotten Realms, excluding one, the Saturday group, which is Bigdirt's group. They were in the Nentervale to begin with. Well, I'm putting the Nentervale in a mountain range or some maybe the desert or something like that in the Sword Coast. So you guys are actually in an area between the Nentervale and Phandalin. But I mean, it's really not important. But anyways, there's a problem basically with gnolls, and it's a small pyramid. It's out in the jungle, and there's just a lot of problems with these gnolls. They're attacking the nearby villages. They're ransacking a lot of caravans, and you guys have been commissioned to take them out. So you guys are at the pyramid, and you guys actually search for several hours for an opening, and you find one. You know, it's hidden with a bunch of thick brush, a bunch of really big vines and tall grass, and you guys find the entrance, and you guys are in. So I'm going to give you guys the first map. Actually, it's one map anyway, so. And good luck, guys. Gnolls are pretty tough. Alright, so there you go. Everyone's tokens should be there. On the grid, each grid is basically 5 feet. You guys are at the entrance. Basically, this is your soft type of sandstone. It is in a jungle, but it is constructed out of the earth and sort of like a mud slash sand, sort of like what how a ziggurat or something would have been built, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago. So you guys are in the entrance. You find out, and you climb your way down the stairs. You can see several broken doors ahead of you, and you can also see that there are sconces on the wall as well. And it's brightly lit, so no one should have any problem at all seeing what's going on. So what do you guys want to do here?
I'll turn to the rogue and I'll say, Lovo, why don't you scout up ahead?
And you guys can see that there's a lot of sand on the floor as well. And we'll see what Lovo wants to do. But I'll give you some other features of the area. Like I had already told you, there are torches on the walls. They're providing a bright light. The ceiling is 10 feet high. The floor, basically you are on a 20-foot flight of stairs that is going down to the ground level, what it appears. And, like I said, plenty of sand on the floor. You can see all kinds of footprints, and they are actually of gnolls, because you guys actually know that you're coming here to fight the gnolls.
I'm gonna grab one of the smaller chunks of these broken doors, and I'm gonna cast the cantrip light on it.
Okay. All right.
20 foot. It's going to be a 20-foot radius blue light.
Okay. Yeah, because you can change the color of that as well. So.
Yep.
Gretseat, thank you very much for the follow.
And wait for everyone else.
All right. I'll for sneaking. What do I do? I guess for that, if I want to sneak around the corner and take a peek.
Just target your token and click ability check, put in stealth, and then when you look at your character sheet under stealth, at the very end there's a total. Just punch that number in.
Yeah, that's one more thing that I knew I was going to talk to you guys about was your macros. There's plenty of macros on your character sheet. All you have to do is click on the token, and at the top you'll see that there's an advantage macro, disadvantage, initiative, all you have to do is click the token and just hit the initiative, and it'll automatically throw it in the tracker. There's, like Lunis was saying, this goes for both the ability check and the saving throw. When you hit those macros, a first pop-up box will pop up. It'll say saving throw, like if you're doing a dex saving throw, just put dex, or if you're doing acrobatics or stealth, just type it in there, hit enter or the OK button, and then the total modifier, which on your character sheet, the total modifier is there in its own section with all of the skill checks. You can also see down below that there is a column that says class features. Those are pretty much what your class has at its current level. You guys are level 2, so you'll be able to see that, like Canvan, you can sculpt spells, you have arcane tradition, so forth. And you can just click on that, and it'll actually pull up a link, and it'll actually tell you what it says, word for word verbatim, either out of the basic rules or the player handbook, wherever I pulled that information from. And if you want to see what any of the skill checks do, like you can click on history, and it'll have a pop-up for you. But most of the, maybe you may, like, I know light was found earlier that was messed up. But for the most part, every link should work. One messes up every now and then, but if you find a link that doesn't work, just let me know and I'll fix it real quick for you. So
it's actually really impressive. Well done.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So
I just want it to be easy for the players, because most of these games are for new players, and when you throw them into something that they don't have a book or a PDF for, it like scares them away because I think it's too technical. So that's why I try to have it like this. So
okay. So I'll click like the ability check is what I do for the sneak.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, yeah, it would be stealth, but see, you have to take into consideration as well the way that stealth works in 5e is basically taking advantage of certain how the environment is. Is it dark? Is there light? This is bright light. Chances are you're not going to be able to stealth. I mean, stealth
Gotcha.
and invisibility are two different things in 5e. Stealth is you're using your surroundings to your advantage. Invisibility is magic or by a potion or a scroll, and you can just plain out, flat out disappear. Although with invisibility, you can still see footprints or hear, But anyways, that's the difference between. There's a big misconception of how stealth works in 5e. A lot of people think that you just disappear like in an MMO. It doesn't work like that. You have to use your surroundings to your advantage with shadows. If there's any tapestries on the wall, if there's any large pieces of furniture, that's what the stealth means.
Can he poke his head around the corner without them noticing?
Sure. Yeah, you could probably do that. Yeah, this map is set up with dynamic lighting as well, so you will have to do that to get a report for the rest of the group. So you guys can also do certain things as well. You can do perception checks if you want to do if you want to smell, or if you want to do any kind of hearing or listening or seeing, or you can do perception checks as well. Just to let you know.
Yeah, Rack wants to take a whiff of the air and see if he notices anything.
Okay, so you can go ahead and do a perception check, which would be wisdom, and if you're proficient in perception, you can add your proficiency. But it already should be calculated. You just put the total in, whatever it says perception, into the skills.
Before our rogue Mr. Lobo gets going, you're gonna hear Dristan, and he's gonna say, "Sir Lovo, Tyr will guide your hand." And he places his hand on the shoulder of the rogue and confers a guidance spell upon him, allowing him to add 1d4 to any ability check of his choice in the next minute. And I can refresh that later if I feel like doing so.
Okay. Go ahead and expend one of your first level spell slots.
That's a 0 level spell.
Is it? Okay, so is that a cantrip? Nice, okay.
Yes.
Very nice. So that doesn't cost you anything. Very good. So you expend a cantrip, Lovo, you peek around the corner, so you can go ahead and peek around the corner. I have no problem with that. To see what you would see. You could possibly report back. But Siege, you hear and smell. You can definitely smell that it smells like wet dog. And you can also hear sort of like a hyena's type of cackle as well.
I let them know it smells like wet dog, and it sounds like we're in the bad part of the Lion King with all the elephant bones.
Yeah, you can see a lot of, as you peer your head around the corner, Lovo, you can see that there are skeletons on the floor. You can see that there's actually quite a bit of sand all throughout the floor. You can see that there's this huge crack in the floor as well. Although that will not give you any kind of impedance, as in like getting stuck in it or anything. It's just going to take 2 movement. It's going to cost you a double movement to go from one square to the other. So instead of 5, it's going to cost you 10. So, but yeah, you can also see on as you're looking down towards the south wall, you can also see that there looks like a bunch of doors as well that are actually on the wall, and you can see more torches that are lining the wall and the sconces as well.
Okay, I relay that back to the party and say, can they see this as well, or just me, right?
Just you. You can only see this. Because
Okay.
every token is independent for line of sight, so whatever you see, nobody else could see. Now, if another token was in your spot, they could probably see it as well, but no, they can't see it. So you'll probably have to report back to what you see. Even though they heard me say it, that would be metagaming, and I don't like metagaming, so.
David, how far could I throw this hunk of wood that I have casted light on?
You could probably throw it 30, 50 feet.
Alright, I'm gonna toss it into the room after he reports that it smells pretty bad and there's a big crack. Just to get a good view in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a big crack, like right in front of us there.
Yeah, it's like a very large crevice in the floor.
Yep,
Probably
so
about
there's
it's like probably about a foot wide. I mean, it's just going to basically hinder your movement. That's all it is. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah, so around that crack area, I'm going to throw this big hunk of wood with a 20-foot radius of light in there.
So did Lovo say he saw anybody that was alive and moving?
Just skeletons, basically. 2 skeletons on the ground and a great deal of sand that will possibly impede our movement here. Thick sand.
Sir Lovo can only identify the stench of dog.
Lovo didn't identify that at all. That was Rack.
Rek, Lovo, you are all just assistants in the destruction of said dogs.
Interesting.
I also want to say it's probably just a bad idea
Correct,
throwing
Idrisk.
something when
Everyone
they don't
sees
know we're
something
here.
differently.
It's going to make a lot of noise, and if they are in the room, they'll be like, hey, who threw that?
You guys
Yeah,
get
it's
to
already
see
happened.
everything because my account can see
It's
everything.
okay.
That's just the way I have
It's
it
just
set
a
up.
giant 20-foot blue light. No big deal.
Yeah, that's why they're all asking questions, because they can barely see.
I
it,
like your
which is
style.
really cool.
I'm not much for stealth myself, and I'll move up.
But yeah, every
Yeah,
token
let's get
is
off the
independent.
powwow of the stairs.
I'm
Just
gonna move up to
down.
these doors.
Okay, so as you guys do move down into the hall, it looks like you've alerted a pack of gnolls. There are 4 in this pack. They all have bows and weapons. It looks like they are all pulling their bows out and levering them towards you. And one gnoll here. He reaches down to the skull, and you can actually see him sort of spin the skull around. And when this happens, simultaneously, you'll notice that the first 2 doors to the north and the first 2 doors to the south, they open up, and a massive amount of sand just starts pouring out. And it looks like the sand is starting to come towards you. So the sand is moving towards you. The gnolls are now pulling ranged weapons. They're pulling bows. And now you have the sand coming towards you and coming towards this crack. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. So all you have to do is basically target your token and hit the initiative. That's all you have to do.
Nice.
Can we tell that this sand is going to go in the crevice and just, plenty of room down there? It's not going to fill up.
We'll see. We'll let you guys see that when the time comes.
How tall is this sand? Could I jump over it?
It is a lot. If you move through the sand, it's going to cost you ×2 movement. So you can do a dash in 5e, which will basically double your movement. But the sand looks to be flowing super quick as well. And like I said, it's the first 2 doors, and those are just, I mean, just the amount of sand is probably 2 foot high, 3 foot high, and it's just such a force. It's just moving towards you. Looks like a, you know, like a wave of sand coming towards you, basically. All right, so I'm going to do some initiatives really quick as well. All right.
Where can I see a range on a short bow?
It says on your character sheet.
Yeah, it should say on your character sheet at the very end under properties and all that good stuff.
Alright, so I'm going first.
You are going first. Canvin is up first.
Alright, so this one that looks like it has a 2-handed axe.
If you don't know how to ping, just all you got to do is hold down your left pointer on whatever token you'd like to. That one right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast the cantrip Firebolt.
Okay. So you're at the top of your character sheet in the second box. It'll say spell attack. That is what you want to use. I believe it's a +5 for you.
Yep. Hold on, it's not.
So we've got so when you hit hit the D20 macro, and when you hit the D20 macro, it's going to ask you how many 20-sideds are you rolling. You're rolling one, and then you're five.
I can't click my token. It's being really weird. Just roll 20 lagging.
Try leaving the game and then getting back in. So try doing that really quick.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again for the follows. KJ Kidman, Gret Seat, thank you guys so much. Bradford, Marco Cholo, Vexlock, Jeff OMN.
So under modifiers, do I put 5 or just 5?
Gunshot Lullaby. Nope, just put 5. You don't have to put any pluses in there. All right, so 15. The 15 on the gnoll is a hit. You can go ahead and roll damage. Zuka Zalid, Dr. Cornflakes, Influence Pack 73, Rudrock Groupie, to Hawksorm. Thank you very much for the follows, guys. I totally appreciate it. Roxin1, thank you for the follow as well. Roxin1. That would be just a flat, I believe, 1d10 damage. Alright, so you hit the gnoll for 4 damage. Seems like you've gotten his attention. Alright, so you can go ahead and make any other movement that you would like to do. As you see the sand starting to barrel towards you. Carthene, you're up now.
I'm going to cast Elder Blast on this gnoll.
Okay, on the same one, I gotcha. Go ahead and do your attack roll. You would also look in the second box down on your character sheet and use that as your modifier for attack. Thank you again, Roxon, for the follow. I appreciate it. Tonight's community raffle is Defender's Quest, Valley of the Forgotten, a $15 game on Steam. Wow, nice roll. 18 versus armor class is a hit. Alright, you do 6 more damage. Very nice. Well, he's definitely gotten the attention of this gnoll over here. Alright, so now, actually it is the turn of the gnoll with the bow up here. He will attack Canvin first. He is going to attack with his long bow.